Welcome to Boba, Brother and Chat. This is our Christmas special. Well, right now, I mean, like outside is like pretty cold outside. No! You guys put this much whipped cream on hot chocolate?
Not usually. Not usually.
This is like
Actually, usually
like 90% whipped cream, 10% hot chocolate.
it turns into like fluff.
I'm just eating whipped cream.
I'm trying to mix it, but it's kind of nasty.
Yeah. That looks like it looks like a
Stop.
No.
Merry Christmas, everyone. It's Dominic, and you're listening to a special Christmas episode of Boba, Bread, and Chat. Robbie's looking very festive today. Here, we build meaningful relationships and connections with God through our conversations while sipping on our favorite warm drinks and eating our favorite snacks. So grab your favorite drink and snacks as we dive into our conversation today.
Before we go into our discussion today, would you guys introduce yourself? And then, yeah, like what's your favorite Christmas activity as well?
I'll start. My name is Christine, and my favorite Christmas activity would be bake, like different, or like just cooking different treats during Christmas.
Awesome. Like, what's your best like Christmas like go-to dish you make or bake?
Usually I just make cookies.
Oh, okay, nice.
My name is Kaela, and my favorite Christmas activity is going sledding with my friends.
Oh, nice. Which slope do you guys go to, or just like somewhere local?
Usually like Westwood Plateau.
Nice. Well, welcome to today's discussion. Today's discussion is talking about focusing on Christmas. Before we go into our discussion again, we have some hot chocolates with whipped cream and marshmallows. So let's dig in. But before we do that, I know we have some snacks. So we have cookies. Kaela, I know you mentioned you like sour gummy worms, but we went to the store and they like ran out, so we got sour cookies
Yeah, it's
instead.
fine. They're both yummy. So
Nice. Okay, why don't we just get our mugs and we'll cheers to the hot chocolate. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so on a count of three, we just gotta cheers. Okay. Oh.
Is it just
There we go. It's a lot of whipped cream.
what? I didn't drink this.
I think I like so much whipped cream. I mean, we'll continue drinking a little way. Okay. So we're talking about Christmas. You know, we have a lot of Christmas traditions. We have family dinners, gift exchange, you know, going out to Christmas market, as well as, you know, our church, we have our Christmas Eve service. But I want to ask you guys, like, throughout your like Christmas childhood and like all your memories, like what was like the best gift you ever received?
I think the best gift that I've ever received for Christmas was actually pretty recent. I got an electric guitar for Christmas and my birthday combined. So yeah, I've been wanting an electric guitar for a while, so I was pretty happy when I got it.
Nice. Awesome. Well, yeah. Christine, do you have a best gift that you can think of?
I don't think I can really think of one right now, but I just like food in general. So yeah, it's just eating Christmas dinners.
Yeah, food is always like a big thing. I mean, throughout, yeah. I think like my best gift I ever received was like very like a childhood. Like this is when the Wii just came out. I don't know if you guys remember the Wii. Yeah. So it was crazy. It was like we were just having a family dinners, like Christmas dinners as a big family. And then we were exchanging gifts, and then my parents like were like, oh, there's actually one special gift I want to get you, because at the time it was like when the Wii came out, I was like, oh, I really wanted this, because it was like the very hit console at that time. It was like, I think it was like 2007. So when my parents said like, why don't you go to the basement and like look for your gift, and I looked for it, and it was like a Wii. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like the best gift I ever received. So it was a fun gift, and it was like really like surprising. That was a big surprise that I never expected to have that gift. Yeah. So we talk about Christmas. you guys mentioned that you guys have family dinners and like going sledding with your friends, but are there like any other traditions that you guys celebrate or you guys do either with your friends or with your family?
I think just some Christmas traditions, just really casual for me, just like watching like classic Christmas movies with my family, or just like Christmas dinner and see how like you mentioned.
I think same for me. Like mainly just Christmas dinners, and then sometimes we do like Secret Santa with like classmates, friends, or like some games. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So Kaela, you mentioned Christmas movies. So like, if you had to choose, what is your go-to Christmas movie that you would watch with your family?
I'd say Home Alone is like a classic. Everyone
It's just so good.
Yeah. All the traps, everything. Yeah. I mean, that time, yeah. Christine, you have your favorite Christmas movie?
Yeah, just say Home Alone.
Home Alone.
It's just
yeah.
like, even though you've like watched it a million times, it's still so good.
Yeah. It's always a classic. I mean, like when those classics really like stay with you, it's like, oh, it's like a rewatch. I mean, at times like my like same thing. Home Alone would be our family tradition, but we also watch Polar Express. Polar Express was a great one. I mean, it fits because there was a hot chocolate scene, so we're having hot chocolate right now. No, but it was like every time I watched it, it was like just. It was always like warm and cozy, like watching together as family, and the message was good. I was talking about like. Yeah, it was just like the message was good and like just the dreams that you can think of, and as well as like as you get older, like being like in the film industry, just seeing how they produce all the animation was like it was crazy. It was crazy how they do it. Yeah, out of all the holidays that people celebrate, like Christmas is such like a hot or like very well known or very well celebrated holiday for families. Why do you think like people celebrate Christmas more than any holidays in a year?
I think it's just because it's like a holiday at the end of the year. It's kind of like a wrap up of the year and like a way to like mark, like the end of the year, like, just like wrapping things up.
Yeah, like kind of like looking back on like the past year. And I think it's usually really dark out during this time, so it's like nice to just like be at home and be with like the people that you love. And because people like if you're studying elsewhere, like usually fly for Christmas, and then that's the time to just be with your friends and your family.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's like like you guys hit it on point. It's like I think it's to me it's like it's a lot of family time. I feel like every time Christmas comes along, it's just everyone feels. Because part of Christmas is being joyful and very like very happy. It just feels like you said, it's like it's dark out. It's like you're being home. It's like cozy, just feeling like just warm at home. And I feel like like spending time with family is just so important. Like Christmas, it's definitely like you mentioned earlier, like Secret Santa gives. It's like we had that tradition as a family, and it's like. Every time we do it, just like exchanging gifts, like we always do the list and everything. Everyone just feels happy like when they get the gift they want. I think it's the biggest thing that we experience. It's just feeling joyful at that time. Before we move on, I know our hot chocolates. We should get drinking. I know the whipped cream is starting to go down. But enjoy. Like let's have some like cookies and like I don't know.
It's gonna stir it. Because it's
I'm just eating a whipped cream.
Just eat the whipped cream. Yeah. You guys put this much whipped cream on hot chocolate?
Not usually. Not usually.
This is like
actually usually don't.
Like 90% whipped cream, 10% hot chocolate.
Literally.
It
not a
turns.
It turns into like just fluff.
I'm just eating whipped cream.
I'm trying to mix it, but it's kind of nasty.
Yeah. That looks like I'm like
Stop.
No.
Why does
Gobble
this look
cream.
actually decent?
I'm gonna try this.
Is it
How's the sour keys? That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Well, like that's your go-to snack, right? I know gummy worms and like anything like sour, like any yeah. So, like, do you have like a special like why you like sour snacks? Like, no. Oh, okay. Awesome. Okay, so we're gonna switch gears about. We talk about Christmas. This is like a season for everyone. Everyone celebrates Christmas, but I think it's also a really important season that we see as Christians. It's the time where we celebrate Jesus' birth. We celebrate his birth and just having that joyful time that we mentioned earlier. You know, changing gears, like in your opinion, as Christians, why do we celebrate Christmas? What's so special about celebrating Christmas as a Christian?
Well, I think we don't know for sure when Jesus was born, but it is important to recognize that Jesus was born because he is a gift of love from God, and he did sacrifice his life for us, which is, really important in Christianity, right? So I think it's a good time to share the gospel with others and just be able to share love with others and show God's love.
Yeah, I think it's just what Christine said. It's just a time to remember Jesus' sacrifice to us.
His birth, like you said, just reflection and remember his birth. I think it's not saying that the Christmas in general is a bad thing, you get gifts and stuff, but I think it's a remembrance of, the greatest gift was Jesus, coming down as a baby, living time on earth, and then eventually dying on the cross for our sins. It's that remembrance, his life, basically from birth until his death. That's why it's so important in the Christian faith that we celebrate Christmas as well as Easter, is just because of those important moments in history as well. So we talk about a lot about gift giving, in general, either giving gifts or receiving gifts. But sometimes in general, it might take away the focus of, the true meaning of Christmas. So do you think giving and receiving gifts to people takes away the true meaning of Christmas?
I think as long as it's not your main focus on the holiday, and you still recognize that the main focus of Christmas is just recognizing Jesus' birth, and so I think it's fine to give gifts.
Yeah, because giving gifts is an act of love, right? And God wants to share love with everyone. So yeah, I think it's fine to give gifts. Just don't go all crazy over it, and don't giving is more important than expecting a gift, right? Because
it's just a way to make sure your loved ones feel appreciated by you.
Yeah.
So as you continue to grow up, do you feel more joy in terms of giving gifts rather than receiving gifts?
Yeah. I love gift giving.
What was the best gift you ever gave someone?
I feel anything that you made, or I really like writing cards as well. So just putting thought into that. But I don't know.
I think it's just for me, I usually plan ahead with my gifts, and then I just go around whenever I see something that reminds me of my friend, I'll be I need to get that from her.
Yeah.
And then I usually end up having my gifts a few months before the actual yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's actually good planning. That's smart planning.
Just whenever something reminds me of them.
So the reason we talk about gift giving is we talk about, the greatest gift is Jesus. And we're just going off of Matthew chapter 2, verse 10 to 11 is that this is called the Magi. So basically the wise men and everyone. It says right here, when they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Yes, they give physical gifts, but I think the biggest thing we can take away from this passage is they worship the true living God, Jesus being alive on earth and being just in worship of him. They came to the house and they worshipped him and just bowed down to him because they know that this is the true living God coming, right? Yeah. Shifting gears as well as the whole thing about Christmas is Christ Mass. Christ in Christmas, the center of it is it's Christ in the middle. Sometimes it's talking about people use the phrase Xmas. Do you think, in your opinion, it's wrong to say Xmas instead of Christmas?
I think, the main reason why people use Xmas is to just like, shorten the phrase of it. But I think, sometimes it can take away the meaning, and it can be like, I guess some people don't want to use Christmas. Some people went but I think it's okay to use it as long as you don't intentionally like not want to celebrate Christ, you know?
Yeah, because like as a kid, I just thought it was like a shortened version of like Christmas. But like now that I think about it, it's like, kind of almost.
Yeah. But I guess it's better to use Christmas.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's completely wrong to use Xmas.
Yeah. So in your opinion, it's kind of more of an abbreviation, just like a short version of Christmas. Yeah, for sure. For me, like as a kid, it didn't really hit me, right? Because I thought, like Kaela said, it's like just an abbreviation. It's like a short version of Christmas. But as I got older, it's like really starting to understand like what's the meaning behind taking Christ out of using Xmas. Really like understand, like for me, I feel like I use Christmas more because like that's the center of it. Christmas is about Christ. But if we talk about history, actually Xmas, the reason you use Xmas is actually Xmas is they use it from a Greek word. The Greek word for Christ is Christos, and they started in Greek lettering. It starts with an X. So that's why they use Xmas, is because it's because of the Greek origin of Christ. So Christos, basically. Hope I'm pronouncing it right. If you comment, but I think like to me, like I would say I'll still use Christmas because we are more common using it as well. But like it's just that focus again. That's the focus I want to focus on. It's the true meaning of Christmas is talking about Christ. We talked a lot about Christmas. We talked about gift giving. We talked about traditions. We talked about all this stuff. But in the Christianity, we also have like celebration of Christ through in our church. Like I said earlier, it's like our Christmas Eve service where everyone comes and sings worship songs. And we do the Advent, like all the lighting of the candles. So we have hope, peace, joy, love. Yeah, and then the center of it is on Christmas Eve we light the Christ candle. So as you kind of grow up, like, and you're like situated with all these Christmas traditions, you had to get this, like, everything ready. Like, do you guys sometimes forget the true meaning of Christmas? Sometimes.
I think because I grew up in the church, I was always reminded. But I think, I guess sometimes it can lose focus. But I think it is important to remember, right? And it's good that we grew up in the church, that we're always reminded.
I mean, like, as a kid, it's like, we all grew up in a Christian household, so we try our best to, try to refocus our mindset on what the true meaning of Christmas is, and it's about Christ. I think sometimes it does bombard me sometimes with like so many like traditions, and like sometimes like to me when I'm focused on like, oh, what's the best gift I can give my family, or what's the best gift I can give my friends, sometimes there's that mindset where like I'm stuck like with just focusing on myself, like just getting the gifts, and rather than like at the same time trying to remember what the true meaning of Christmas is, and it's about Jesus Christ, his birth. I think that also, like, in my opinion, it's like hand in hand. I think when we, like we said earlier, like the giving aspect of it, I think the biggest thing is like to reiterate, to remind us, like it's not about the big gifts. It's about like, what comes from the heart. And I think that kind of to wrap up is like we kind of Christine, you mentioned, is like sharing the gospel, sharing the Christmas stories. Like, what are some ways besides like sharing, like, well, actually, let me read it. It's like, what are some ways that as Christians we can tell someone about the true meaning of Christmas or what Christmas is about?
I think, again, like we watched in the musical. But also, I think a lot of times, sometimes during the end of the year, some people are going through tough times, right? And especially through like food banks and things like that. It's a good way to share love. And then through that, for example, for the musical, we have like food banks for like toy drives. And by sharing that love with others, we can share God's love with them as well. Yeah. So there's that way, and there's also just telling your friends about it, and like especially when you're gathering with your friends or family that don't know about Christ, that's a good time to share.
Yeah,
I think it's way easier to invite like a newcomer to church when it's like something more less heavy. Like for example, like the children's choir musical, it's like a fun like thing to invite them, and like you can like spread the message of like the true meaning of Christmas. And also like recently, like we've also been starting to do like cooking nights for youth. So just like inviting your friends to that, just like getting them like used to the church. Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people have a lot of like stereotypical thinking about how the church is, right? So yeah, just bring them to a more casual event, so that they're not just like bombarded with a bunch of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So
Because I think when people usually think of church, they usually think of like a sit down like sermon, just like so boring. Like that's not like all church, you know. Like church is also about like building like connections, community. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, you guys did really well, and thanks for sharing. I think the biggest thing is, like, what Kaela mentioned was talking about community building. I think, like, yes, it's also important, like, to bring them into, like, for example, Christmas Eve service, like, where we worship, where we sing Christmas songs that they might have heard on the radio or, like, heard somewhere else. But also, like, you know, that's the time where they can hear about the story of Christ. You know, that's one of the events, but also like just having dinner or having a lunch with them, like for people that might have not heard of Christ before, you know, sitting down with them, spending a meal with them, you know, asking them like, what's your Christmas plans, you know, like where you're going or where you're planning to, but also like at the same time, it's like, hey, like, you know, as a Christian, we also celebrate this. And it's like easing the way for it. Like for my thinking, it's like, because going back to thinking about when we went through our missions trip, I think the biggest thing is that, you know, we share the culture with them. We understand the culture. We understand community building with them. And I think that, like, learning from that is, like, that's what I think a Christian should exemplify or should, like, in the image of God. You know, because when Jesus was on earth, he spent time with his disciples, you know, besides preaching and besides sharing the word with the people around them. I think the biggest thing is spending time with them, having meals with them, praying with them, fellowship with them. That's the biggest thing. And I think that in our culture, it's like, that's what we should be doing. It's like spending time with them, spending time with people that, you know, might have not heard about Christ, or as well as like people that we have lost connection or like haven't talked to in a while. Just really spending time with them. That's really the big thing. And especially during Christmas, you know, like Christine said, they might be going through a tough time, you know, and I think just caring for them, that's the biggest thing. And that's like, in my opinion, like a great gift that having someone with them is a great thing. Yeah, that's the last episode of Boba Bread and Chat for this season. I want to personally thank Christine and Kaela for joining us on this podcast. Hope you guys got something out of the discussion. Make sure to follow us on our social media channels at lighthousemedia.wac, as well as our church's Instagram at westwood.alliance.church for new episodes at the end of each month. Until then, Merry Christmas, God bless, and take care, bye.